Hello, and welcome to the AlphaCam 2019 R1 What's New videos. In this short video, we're going to cover 3 additional bits of functionality. Number 1, enhancement to your automatic Z or Z levels. We had already enjoyed the ability to be able to use automatic levels from a geometry to define the depth of the cut, giving us a strategy that is universal and that can cut multiple machine thicknesses. However, we did not have the ability to make that Z or Z level relative to either the top or the bottom portion of that polyline, that geometry. We were only able to apply it to the bottom. We now have the ability to be relative to either section, which provides us with best-in-class flexibility and functionality. To give you an example, this will allow us to consolidate machining styles for different machines and types of applications. So if you have a machine that uses the top of the stock as a reference, and you have another machine that uses the bottom of the stock as a reference, you can potentially now use a strategy or a machining style that covers both of those machines without having to have multiple copies of a machining style or strategy. The second enhancement is we've added the ability to give you a warning information bar. This follows our tradition of keeping up with the latest trends in Microsoft technologies, and we will continue to enhance it. An example, as you can see here, you will be prompted now with this attractive information bar whenever you need to update a toolpath. And then finally, also moving along with enhancements in productivity and user experience, we have implemented the selection and preview into AlphaCam. So let's discuss the functionality. As you can see here, I have 3 geometries. Every one of these geometries actually has independent Z or Z levels. For example, this one starts at 0 and goes to -1. This one starts at -1, goes to -2. And this one starts at -2 and goes to -3. Of course, this could have been extracted from a solid, or this could have come from a third-party system that has the ability to set polyline thickness. So now I'll be able to simply rough or finish with automatic Z or Z these geometries. And I'll be able, as I was saying before, I'll be able to set the stock relative to the upper side. What does this mean? So for example, I'll be able to say, look, I need a 1/4 of an inch or 6.35 millimeter cut, but use the top of the line as the reference, not the bottom. I can select multiple of these. You can actually see our preview selection in play here. And then you can see that all of the toolpaths are relative to the top portion of the geometry down. Now, as always, right, I am able to go ahead and copy that operation, edit that operation, change the tool, for example, to a 1/2 inch tool or 13 millimeter end mill. And instead of making it relative to the top level, I can say just cut to the full depth of the bottom geometry. And so you can see now we have 2 examples covering being able to use the top portion or the bottom portion of the geometry as the reference point. As I mentioned previously, this is very powerful, and it will allow you to set machining styles that are simply agnostic of the machine or the application, and they work universally. I mentioned before that we now have the ability to show you a preview. This, of course, depends on whether your selection window is from right to left or it crosses from left to right. For example, if I wanted to move these geometries, I'd trigger my move command with my shortcut. If I begin my window from left to right, you will get the classic AlphaCam experience, which is only geometries that are fully inside or enclosed will be selected. The first enhancement is now you can physically see the selection, and that is the preview that you get. And the second enhancement is now you can start a window from right to left, and anything that touches that window is actually going to be selected. This has historically been a very productive way of selecting entities. Finally, The enhancement and continuous enhancement that we will develop pertains to the message information bar, as it is known in Windows parlance. For example, if I make a change to these geometries, say change the tool direction to the outside, you'll now see that we have the message information bar giving you the ability to update the toolpaths and make changes. We will continue to enhance and add important messages to the end user as we continue to develop the interface. Of course, all of these changes are fundamentally optional. If I select my Home tab, Configure, General, I can go to the Selection portion and I can decide whether I want to or I do not want to use the cross-window selection, and I want to or do not want to highlight the entities in the selection window.